Hi there, folks. It is Mr. Lamb coming to you with a video over the 4.1 to 4.2 quiz that we took on Friday. Really, just a couple of things we needed to know. We needed to know Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We also needed to know the two special right triangles, a 45-45-90 and 30-60-90. We also needed to know Pythagorean triples. And really that was about it. So quiz was 10 points. Everything is worth 1. So problem 1 is worth 1. Problem 2, each line was worth 1, making the front out of 7. And then on the back, problem 5 was worth 2 because there are 2 different lines. Problem 6 is worth 1, so the back was out of 3. So there's your 7 and 3, which gives you 10. The grade is put in as a times 2 grade, however. So really it's 20 total points. Everything gets doubled. The bonus were 1 point each if you got either of the 2 bonus. So you really could have gotten a 12 on this one. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get to the answers for these things. So number 1 says find x. And it says show all the steps, leave your answer in surplus, radical, or fraction form. So I don't know if this is a special triangle. I know this, it's 90 degrees. It is a right triangle. But I don't know if it's 30, 60, 90. I don't know if it's 45, 45, 90. I don't know what the other angles are. So my only option here is Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And remember that the legs are a and b, and the hypotenuse is c. So in this case, 16 squared plus 30 squared equals x squared. Well, 16 squared is 256, and 30 squared is 900. That equals x squared. Add those two together, you get 1,156 equals x squared. So that means x equals the square root of 1156. Now you probably don't have this one memorized, but you could try it in your calculator just to see if it does come out to be a nice neat number, and it does. It comes out to be 34. If it came out to be a decimal, that's when I would start trying to reduce that radical down. I would try to build that factor tree and break that thing all the way down and figure out what goes in how many times. But this one, that did work out well. The square root of 1,156 is actually exactly 34. Okay, for 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the missing angles. In question 2, you have a 90 and a 45, so that makes the other one 45. For problem 3, you have a 90 and a 30, so you also have a 60. In problem 4, it actually tells you what they are. So, what you needed to know in number 2, 3, and 4 is I'm going to use the letter M, because that's what I've used the whole time. And a 45, 45, 90, the legs are both M, and M radical 2 for the hypotenuse. For 30, 60, 90s, M are across from the 30. 2M is the hypotenuse, and M radical 3 is across from 60. Again, across from 30 is M, hypotenuse is 2M, and M radical 3 is across from the 60. So I'm looking for an equation. So here I see the equation. M radical 2 equals 8. So scroll down a little bit. So M radical 2 equals 8. So divide both sides by radical 2. So M is equal to 8 divided by radical 2. And then I have to rationalize that denominator. So I have to multiply by a fraction equivalent to 1. So I like radical 2 over radical 2. My numerator is now 8 radical 2. 8 times radical 2 is 8 radical 2. And the bottom radical 2 times radical 2 is 2. And then reduce. I have an 8 over 2, which reduces to 4 over 1. So that is just 4 radical 2. So M is equal to 4 radical 2. So when I look up to the top, my x value, you'll see right here, it says x is equal to the M value. So x is 4 radical 2. And the y value, you'll see it's also equal to m, so it is also 4 radical 2. All right, as I take a look at question number 3, here is my equation. I'll use that one right there. So 2m is equal to 100. So that means m is equal to 50. Divide both sides by 2. All right, here I can see that x is equal to the n value, so that means x has to be equal to 50. And here I can see that y is equal to the n value with a radical 3. So 50 radical 3. And for number 4, here's my equation. M radical 3 equals 4 radical 3. Divide both sides by radical 3. And lo and behold, the radical 3's cancel on both sides, so m is equal to 4. Here we see that x is equal to the m value, which is 4, and y is equal to 2 times the m value. 2 times 4 is 8. So x is 4, and y is 8. Now, each line was worth 1, so between 2, 3, and 4, that is 6 of the 10 points on this quiz. Big section right there. All right, on the back, number 5 says list 2 Pythagorean triples. Now understand there are an infinite number of Pythagorean triples. Here's what I needed to see. I needed to see that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I needed to know that they were all whole numbers. You could not have any decimals. I'll just give you 2 of them. The 2 easy ones for me to remember are 3, 4, 5. That's probably the easiest. And then the next one, 5, 12, 13. That's another one that's pretty easy to remember. All right, number 6 says given 36 and 85. Find a third number that'll create a Pythagorean triple. All right, so let me put up a picture of a triangle here. Okay, so I have this triangle. And there's my 90 degrees. And I have a 36 and an 85. So I could go 36, 85, and I could find the hypotenuse for 36 and 85. So 36 squared plus 85 squared equals x squared. And 36 squared plus 85 squared, if you type that into your calculator, you get 8,521. 8,521 equals x squared. So x is equal to the square root of 8,521. So x is equal to, I don't even remember, this is some decimal. Here, it's some number with a decimal, which is a problem because if I'm going to have a Pythagorean triple, it has to be a whole number. So I know that 85 cannot be one of the legs, which means 85 must be the hypotenuse. So I'm going to try it again this way. So let me move this out of the way here, because that did not work. So I'm going to try it now. And remember, 85 can go in as the hypotenuse, but 36 cannot, because the hypotenuse has to be the longest side. All right, so let's try this again. So 36 squared plus x squared equals 85 squared. So that means x squared equals whatever it is when I do 85 squared minus 36 squared. Those are some pretty big numbers, so I'm just going to type it into my calculator and find that 5929. 5929 is what I get when I do 85 squared minus 36 squared. Square root of that, x is equal to the square root of 5929, which comes out to be a beautiful whole number of 77. So the third number had to be 77. I know it is a Pythagorean triple because it comes out to be a whole number. There is no decimal. So once I got that decimal on the other one, I knew that there was an issue. And the bonus. Yes, I will share the bonus with you. I told you in the last video what to expect on the bonus. And it is, I'm looking for the other two numbers that are going to give me a Pythagorean triple. So if the first number is even, if it is even, the first thing I do is I divide it by 2, which is 7. Then I square the 7. 7 squared is 49. My two numbers are the two integers that surround 49. So the integer that's smaller than 49 is 48, and the integer that's bigger than 49 is 50. So 14, 48, 50 is a Pythagorean triple. So cut it in half, then square it. If it is odd, like 31 is odd, instead of cut in half, then square, I square, then cut in half. So the first thing I want to do is 31 squared. And 31 squared is 961. And I take that answer, and I cut it in half. And half of 961 is 480.5. And I do the same thing. I take the integer that is smaller than 480 and a half. The integer smaller than that is 480. The integer bigger than that is 481. So really, the process is the same. You're going to divide by 2, and you are going to square, and you're going to take an integer on either side. However, if it's even, cut it in half first, then square. If it is odd, square, then cut in half. I'm sure in my words it's a little bit easier than in that video, but that's why it was a bonus. So hopefully you got something out of today's video, and it helps you prepare for the test. Have a good day.